Next up is the introduction for the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Nicassio. Before we dive into that, though, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen. Like every time I have this guy on, he's been on 15 plus times. Every time, it's practical, actionable, tactical things that you can do to grow into your greatest possible self. He is an amazing human being, and I'll tell you why in just a second, but make sure you stay all the way through to the end, because one of these ideas has the power to change your business. He is a master at solving business problems, so definitely stay tuned. Our next guest is absolutely unique. There are many products that tell you how to start your own business, but Joe Nicassio doesn't just tell you how. He mentors you step by step through the process and guarantees you will get results at the cash register. How do I know? Because I, Chris Burns, hired Joe, and he helped me to create my first business. The things I learned from Joe were fundamental, foundational aspects of building a business that I still get to use today. So if you need more than a coach, if you're looking for a mentor that can connect the dots for you and hold your hand along the way to success, then you definitely want Joe as a mentor, as your mentor. And I want to get some thumbs up. I want to get some hearts. I want to get some comments, some yahoos out in the audience on the live stream for Mr. Joe Nicassio, because we are about to rock the house. Joe, are you ready to bring it, my good sir? You are bringing it. Yes, you are. Absolutely. Joe, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing with our audience on this beautiful New Year day how we can become our greatest possible self, especially in the area of business and growing into our GPS, man. So thank you for being here. We're going to start off with the theme of today, which is 2020, new year, new decade. What does that mean for you, Joe?
It means that it means it's time to let go of all your lame ass excuses.
That's right. Drop that shit.
You got a fresh start. You got a blank slate. Landmark, we talk about blank slate. You are the creator of your destiny, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. But it's like it's time. There's no more excuses. It's like you got a fresh start today, and like let's get it right.
Amen. Amen, Joe. So for everyone who's just finding out about you, tell us what you do in Employee Escape Plan and helping entrepreneurs be blossomed and bloomed into the world.
I help you go from confusion to cash to dash. If you got a business, I help you build a better business. And if you don't have a business, I help you start. I think one of the best ways to explain, who I work with, what I do is, every day in America, millions of people are reluctantly driving to a job they don't want to go to.
Yep.
And they are praying, dear God, please send me a mentor so I never have to go to this idiotic job again. And I am the answer to that prayer.
I love it. The metaphors, the stories, you just keep coming up with it. I don't know where it all comes from, but it comes from within that genius brain of yours, Joe. So if anyone wants to check out your story, your journey, they can listen to one of the past episodes. Today, we're just going to dive right in, man. I'm feeling the heat to grow, the pressure, the excitement, the fun, the play of growing into our greatest possible selves, moving away from fear and into growth. So tell us, how do we do that, man?
Okay, I got a list. I took some really great notes from a seminar I went to like 30 years ago, and I'm bringing that today.
Love it.
Okay. So anyway, if anybody wants my notes, I'll send them after the show, but just write, prerequisites. Okay. It's the list I have is prerequisites for growth and authenticity.
Beautiful.
So in other words, you can't grow and you can't be your authentic self unless you do these things first. So the first thing on the list, and I'm going to go through these, Chris, and they're great topics for conversation. The first couple, I don't think we should go into too deep. But the first thing is, if you want to grow, is among many native traditions, it is said life is simple if number one, you show up.
Yep.
So it's a new year, like you're here, you're not dead. So good first step.
Doing something right.
Yeah. Number two is, you can't grow if you don't pay attention.
Yep.
You got to be present to what's going on. And then number three is you got to learn to tell the truth without blame or judgment. You can't grow if you're not willing to, live in your truth without being the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4 is you're open to the outcome rather than being attached to the outcome.
Wow.
Okay. If you want to grow, um, it's good to have outcomes. There's many roads to the top of the mountain, but the view is always the same. And so if we don't need to be too attached about how we get the outcome. But when we're open to the outcome, it's amazing how things can unfold for us. So that's kind of a starting place. It's so baseline ground zero.
Just dropping value bombs up in here. Okay, so I want to go back to the blank slate. So we're starting off this year as a blank slate. I think that's important mental frame to step into. Anything I want to be, do, and have, it is possible. So let's ask ourselves, what is our truest, deepest desires, and what do we want to manifest? Like, if you want to grow, you have to have a direction you want to grow towards, a goal, an aspiration, a dream. So the second thing is to show up. Okay, you're showing up here on this marathon, on this interview. So kudos to you. And you're showing up because you're seeking the information. You wouldn't be here unless you were like looking for an answer. You're looking for some way to grow. Second thing is be present. I think that's a really important one that a lot of people might just skip over and overlook because it's so simple, but it is also very difficult for a lot of people to truly be present in the moment and to hear the inspiration, to hear the signs that God, universe, source, creator, whatever, intuition is sending you to be able to grow and take those next steps and have your breakthrough. The next one is tell the truth without blame or judgment. And I think that's really powerful because it's like to be real, to be authentic about where you've been being inauthentic, to just share like what is going on so that you can be freed up from it. But it might be a little bit painful, might be a little bit challenging, might be a little uncomfortable as you do that. But do your best to not beat yourself up more than you have to. Recognize the impact of what the truth is, but don't beat yourself up and don't stay stuck in that pit if that's not where you want to stay.
I like this idea of having a relentless commitment to the truth about reality.
Yeah.
If you want to grow, you better like quit lying to yourself, or fabricating, or imagining things are different than they are. When you're committed to the truth about reality, you have a chance to grow. But if you want to live in some kind of delusion, it's like wake up, open your eyes, open your ears, and stretch your concept of reality.
This is gold. I want to dive into this point because I was just reading in the Bible today. I was reading that Jesus walked on water, right? And he called. Who did he call out to him? Peter? I don't know. Somebody called. Well, who?
Peter.
Yeah. He said, "Come out to me." And so Peter's like, "Can I?" And then he started walking. And then when he doubted, then he started sinking. Right. So a lot of reality that people have constructed, Joe. They might think it is the truth. How does someone know what is subjective truth versus what is actually possible? And isn't reality always being bent? And if we have the faith, like anything can be done.
Anything?
Walking on water is pretty out there.
I think it's possible we could have Chris Burns have plastic surgery and add a schnauzer nose to him.
It is possible. I love the image that we just put into our audience's head. Whoever can draw it, you get $100. Just kidding.
Just because anything's possible, I don't know that anything is possible. I can't become 11 foot tall and play in the NBA.
Okay.
So I think we have these limitations that are so stifling. A lot is more possible than we ever thought we could imagine.
Yeah.
And we impose most of our limitations. Almost all of our limitations are self-imposed, and so we do need to find a higher sense of possibility. Let's move on a little bit though.
But I'm having so much fun here, Joe. Come on. Let me cover this last point. So the last one was open to the outcome without being without being attached to the outcome. And I think that's important, to come with a spirit of openness, of curiosity. And a lot of people, I think, today have this mindset of, I already know that. So to say, I know that, maybe, yes, and what else can I learn?
Great. So I've got 16 points. This is number 2 now.
Bring it.
Okay. To begin the process of personal growth, you need to engage your self-observer. And 3 points. Number 1, delete the need to understand. To begin growing, you need to delete your need to understand, because growth takes us into new territory. We don't always understand where we're growing into, because it's new space. Number 2 is we need to engage our self-observer and make no comparisons. And number 3 is release all judgment. So if you want to begin the process of personal growth, engage your self-observer. So you need to be self-aware. You need to be self-aware, and and delete the need to understand. I think it's so huge. Like, if you're stepping into a new 2020, into a new you, into a new possibility, into true growth, you're stepping into new space. And you need to let go of this need to understand every nuance. You don't need to understand how the miracle happens. You just need to be accepting that the miracle can happen. And quit comparing yourself to other people. There's no one else's journey here but yours. And don't worry about what other people's, be on your journey, and be supportive of other people. And at the same time, there's no need to compare yourself.
Right.
Okay. So you want to riff on that a little bit?
I think you covered it, man. Okay.
So number 3 here is maintaining a viewpoint of accountability. Okay. Now let me give you a definition of accountability. And accountability is the willingness. It's the willingness to maintain the point of view, whether or not it is yet your experience, that you are a part, a cause, an agent, or a source of your experience and everything around you. You are a part of everything around you. You are the cause of everything around you. You are an agent of everything around you. You are the source of your experience and everything around you. Pretty powerful definition of accountability.
Knocking stuff off the walls.
There are things. I got something from the wall here.
I love it. Peace. I love it. Okay, so willingness to maintain a point of view that you are a part, a cause, an agent, or a source of everything around you, everything you experience around you.
Yeah, you want a new 2020? It's like, this is your creation, and that means the good stuff, the shitty stuff, everything. Or like take ownership. That, like, maybe you don't like the stuff that's happening to you, but you got to recognize you put yourself in that situation. And if you don't like the scenario you're in, you got 2 feet, you can walk away.
That's right.
And so, if you don't like the people you're surrounded by, surround yourself by new people.
Yep.
You don't like the results you're getting, do something different.
I've been telling you this forever. Like, do you get it
yet? Okay. So bullet point number 5.
Okay.
Living courageously is taking action in the presence of fear. Making a growth choice rather than a fear choice. And that was the title of today's talk. It's about making, you want a new 2020. If you want it to be better this year, if you really want to grow and make 2020 your best year ever, then you need to make better decisions.
Yeah.
and you need to make your decisions based on, will I grow through this? It's not about going through it, it's about growing through it. And I look back in the last year of people. There are two kinds of people. Two kinds of prospects: the ones that bought from me, and the ones who didn't buy from me.
Right.
The ones who bought from me did it because they wanted to grow. They were making the growth choice.
Yeah.
The ones who didn't buy from me, now some of them wanted to for some whatever circumstances they couldn't, but for the most part, the ones who didn't buy from me were doing it out of fear. They were like, oh, I don't know if I can afford hiring a business coach. Oh, I don't know if my business can succeed. Most businesses fail. And so I as I looked back in retrospect, how many people make a decision based on fear? And it's like, wow, it explains so much. And knowing that, there's another side to this too, and that is everybody that I've ever met has experienced trauma. I had trauma from the day I was born. I was comfortable in the womb, and they evicted my ass. And as I was traveling through the birth canal, it became loud and noisy outside, and I came out, and a doctor appeared, and he slapped me on the ass. I was so pissed off, I slapped him back. I was traumatized from the day I was born.
Yeah.
We've all got trauma. And so when we start to recognize that every soul that you run into has experienced trauma and could be experiencing trauma every day, our job is to show up as the healer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go back to this idea of growth choice versus fear choice. A lot of times people are making their choices based on fear. I mean, in a selling situation, if we just wake up and realize they need this, this is good for them, but they're making decisions based on fear, then we get to shift into a shaman role or a priest or a healer role, where we can actually, it's not about selling at this point. It's about, let's heal these things that are stopping you from growing. And I just want to pass it back to you. What comes up for you as I share that?
Yeah, I think it's the energy of sales, I think, has been traumatized to be something that's pushy and aggressive and hurts people and tries to pull the wool over people's eyes, and it's a win-lose situation. And when you're a healer, you got the medicine. That there's someone who is in need of that medicine, and you're like, some people want to receive the medicine, and some people are more committed to their excuses, or say they actually need to go buy, whatever, the new PlayStation, the new Jordan shoes, whatever it might be. That's the more important thing than the medicine and getting the healing. Hey, those people, more power to them. You go find your solution elsewhere. But for the people who are ready to heal, for the people who are ready to find the solution, like I'm the person who's going to deliver this medicine to you. So come into my house. Like it's an open door, and I have nothing but love for you.
Yeah. And one of the key words here is living courageously, is taking action in the presence of fear. It's about living courageously. Making the growth choice takes courage.
Yeah.
It takes stepping into a new possibility. It takes this ability to, even though I don't understand how I'm going to grow, I'm courageous enough to face that and go through that.
Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty good. No, damn good.
Joe, you are on fire, sir.
So number 7 bullet point here is personal growth requires the surrender and transcendence of addictions, laziness, and reactive behavior.
Amen.
This means facing your emotions rather than avoiding them. You want to grow this year? I know you got all kinds of emotions that are bubbling up, but if you want to grow, quit, there's fight or flight, quit running away from the discomfort. If you want to grow, face your emotions, and it's hard to face your emotions when you're avoiding them with addictions.
Yeah.
I got this cartoon. It's this guy is laying in the psychiatrist's couch, and he says to the psychiatrist, he says, I think you need to up my dosage because I still have feelings.
Yep.
So often we medicate ourselves to avoid our feelings, and we need to face our feelings instead of avoiding them. And laziness is another way of avoidance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
How do we sit in social media, and not do what we know we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Even sleeping. I used to sleep to avoid my responsibilities, to avoid messaging people, to avoid whatever, because I felt pressure. I felt it was my coping mechanism.
You put your hand under the pillow.
That's right.
It's like, is it safe to come out yet?
That's right. And we had Janet McKay in the audience who said, "Hey Joe, what's up, Janet? Welcome, Superwoman." So that coping mechanism, everyone has coping mechanisms. Some are more healthy than the other, right? We're going to experience stress. The question is, how do we deal with it? Do we go and meditate? Do we go and journal? Do we go and yell into a pillow? Do we go for a run? Do we do some things that are healthy and get us back to baseline homeostasis and good energy? Or do we perpetuate that negative energy by trying to repress it? Drinks, drugs, alcohol, whatever it might be. Do we do things that are unhealthy? Mindlessly scrolling, watching TV, whatever it might be, toxic stuff that doesn't move us forward.
I think if somebody said, there's a Mike Tyson quote. I think he says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yep.
Okay. But I'm a martial artist, so some people, they get punched in the face, they're like, oh, they run away, right? But martial art mentality, you punch me in the face, okay, that fuels me.
Yeah.
Like okay, now we're getting going.
Yeah.
So life will slap you in the face, and that makes you face. Find that strong side that makes you face it versus that weak side that wants to run away from it.
And I think that's a muscle that gets developed over time too. Thankfully, you've done martial arts, which helps you get into tough, difficult situations where you're getting stress intentionally put on you and your body and your mind, and things that are more difficult than you know how to face, but you consistently keep showing up to that challenge, and eventually you develop a thick skin, a powerful, empowered, strong mindset to overcome whatever adversity comes your way.
Yeah, in martial arts training, you do this thing where when you face your opponent and bow in, you lock eyes, you never break eye contact. Never. You face that opponent. You don't avoid the opponent. You're locked onto their eyes, and they're, when you look into somebody's eyes, you can see their decisions.
Wow.
You can see their intention. And too often in life, we look at somebody and it feels a little scary. We run away.
Yeah.
And that's,
well, I think just in general, to be connected, I love that you said that. In the eyes is our soul. So a lot of people are so afraid of the world, so afraid of being seen, of being vulnerable, that they don't even allow people to connect with their eyes, with their soul.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. So, if you want to grow this year, face your demons face on, man. There's a scripture, it's a Mormon scripture, and it says that even though the adversary can bite at your heels, God can crush his skull. So there are a lot of negative forces that are nipping at you. But when you're tapped into the higher power, the higher power can always destroy the evil if you tap into that higher power.
Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Rob Garcia, who's in the audience, who said, I had a meeting with Joe. He is one of the smartest and most effective guys I have ever met. Great job, Chris. So, Joe, shout out to you, man. You're doing great works. And also shout out to Robert Garcia, who's doing some amazing things in San Diego, helping people to get publicity, get their brand and their message unified, ready, get more exposure, more just get that message out. And Rob is an amazing guy at doing that. He's a badass. Totally connect with Robert.
I wanna shout out to Rob because me and him met and we swapped some coaching. So he coached me a little and I coached him, and he is the warrior strategist. He's a badass. If you want to like connect with high level people, Rob will give you strategy to do that. And, good to have you in the audience, Rob. Let me move on to the next one.
Let's do it.
Personal growth requires the surrender of denial, a commitment to telling the truth about reality, the truth about where I am and what I am doing in my life right now. Okay? This idea of commitment to the truth about reality. You may not have all of the truth about reality, but it's that commitment to the truth about reality. It's going to enable you to grow. If you're not committed to the truth about reality, then you're going to be living in some other altered reality that isn't true, and it's going to inhibit your growth.
You know, I love this because it's really smacked me upside the head a couple times, and it's been a big blessing this year because I recognize that Chris Burns, the personality, only has so much, let's say, potential or control over, I guess, what happens in the world. And I love like these different lessons and points because I want to see how it blends with that. But what I've learned is when I give acknowledgement and reverence and recognition to a higher power, I'm able to get myself out of the way and allow these miracles to happen. And if I keep pretending like I have all the answers, like I am going to get smacked in the face. Versus if I say, "Hey, I'm here to be the best vessel that I can be of my gifts, to be the the steward of the talents that I've been given, to be the conduit of what I'm here to do, of whatever God, universe, source, creator's purpose is." With me still on this planet. I'm here for a reason. I'm breathing for a reason. I'm here doing this live streaming for a reason. I think I know what it is, and I get to keep being open to what is next. What is the highest and best use and purpose of my time and my energy and my presence? This, and then whatever comes next, then it's that. In each moment, it's like, hey, what is the truth of who I'm meant to be in this moment? I'm open. God, use me, and I think that was a big lesson for me last year.
There's a great distinction too. There's my truth and your truth, but there's the truth. And when we say committed to the truth, it's not a commitment to my truth. me. I've got the commitment.
I love your truth, Joe. Come on.
My truth is good and your truth is good, and I love your truth too. But when we're really committed to the higher truth, what is the truth?
Yes.
That's when, when you're committed to the truth about reality and you live in that realm, that even though it's not something inside of my understanding, when we're committed to that truth, that's the baseline of knowledge and understanding. And that's the bridge. You got your truth, I got my truth, but the truth is universal and it applies to all of us. And even though you may not agree with the truth of reality, that doesn't mean reality can't kill you. Because you don't understand the laws of physics. That doesn't mean that physics can't harm you. Okay. And so we don't always understand the truth, but that's our quest. Let's go on my list here. So, personal growth requires the willingness to defer immediate gratification. I want it now. I want to be a millionaire now. I want to be a billionaire now. Guess what? If you want to be a billionaire, first step is probably be a millionaire. And if you want to be a millionaire and you're not one yet, maybe the first step is to be a hundredaire. And so we want to be the billionaire. So instead of, we need to map out a path for ourselves. And there is no such thing as immediate gratification. Nothing meaningful, happens by instant.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, because I think being grateful, being appreciative, there is the energy of immediate gratification. There's the energy of appreciation. There's the energy of recognizing blessings that are already existing, which attracts even more blessings. So I think immediate gratification in that, like whatever is really meant for us, those big life dreams and purpose and things like that, that is not instant, but we can have the feeling, we can have the fulfillment in the instant, because we already are with God. We already are with infinite love and intelligence, and we already are being our greatest possible self. So to be grateful for that, thank you, thank you, thank you, and that's fulfilling.
Well, let me invoke the law of sowing and reaping, which is if you sow, you shall reap. So,
Yep.
uh, you know, if you plant the seed, you can't say, "Oh, I get the crop instantly."
No.
It doesn't work that way. If you want to make a baby, you don't have sex, and then 24 hours later, you got a baby. There you must go through there is a gestational period. So you plant, and then you nurture, and with time you harvest. And everybody wants the harvest. Okay, so if you want to grow, you need to be willing. That it's okay to have instant gratification, but if you want the crop, you got to plant the seed. You got to water the seed, and waiting and time is part of the formula.
What's the difference between appreciation and being fulfilled by that, and appreciation and manifesting? Appreciation, doing the activity, planting the seeds, watering, laboring, and receiving the crop. What's the distinction in the process or the gestation or the value in the receiving? Isn't it the same energy? It's just one has the time difference, the temporal difference.
So the difference is the willingness to defer immediate gratification.
Okay.
One of the things you can have is when you have the willingness to defer immediate gratification. That means I'm being grateful with the process, even though the manifestation has not occurred yet.
Yeah.
We need to trust the process, and we need to realize that everything in life is a process.
And so what I'm hearing is it's not just the willingness to defer immediate gratification, but it's to do it in a certain spirit. It's to do it in a certain energy. It's to do it in a certain mindset, or else you could defer forever.
Well, let's just take this example of I want to make $1 million.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want $1 million, Chris?
Yes.
Do you want it now?
Yes.
Are you willing to realize that it doesn't always happen like now?
Yes.
Okay. And so are you willing to do, even though you want the gratification now, the immediate gratification?
Yes.
This is the part where a lot of people struggle, is they're not willing to surrender to the process itself. There is a process. The quality of being there, millionaire, is the steps it takes to get there. And if you want to take step one and get the result, it doesn't work that way. This goes back to that other principle of having a relentless commitment to the truth about reality. Like if you think you can snap your fingers and $1 million will show up, you may not be connected to reality and the fact that the reality is it's a process. There are many ways. You can get 10 million. You can get $1 million from this way, and you can get 500,000 this way, and you can get $20 today. What a lot of people struggle with is that, like, well, I'll show you how to create a business. Now, the first goal is let's make your first $100. And then people they're ungrateful, they're ingrateful. They say $100 isn't enough. And when you shoot down that blessing, you shoot down the other blessings. It's impossible for you to get more if you're not grateful for what you've got.
Yeah. I love it. Vibing with it, Joe. What's the next one?
The next one is the true self is revealed in the stopping of the mind. When you face your emotions, they become allies. Dive into them, and there is dissolution. And beneath infinite silence, Silence mirrors back the neurotic condition of the false self created by the fixation and the attachment to form. The gift of silence is that it reveals who you are not. Mm-hmm. You got to face your emotions if you want to grow. The true self is revealed in the stopping of the mind. Mm-hmm. And I want to bounce this back to you, because didn't you go through, not that long ago, didn't you go through like a multi-day silence meditation?
Yep. I was going to say 2018. I did it in March or April, I think. Anyways, yeah, it was 10-day Vipassana silent meditation. And I think it was like so empowering for me. Like it was one of those things where I'm like, I did it. You know, like going into it, yeah, I had so many reservations and questions and people saying, oh, it's so difficult. It really, for me, the difficult part was like my posture, and like it became sore after a while. My back became sore because I just wasn't used to meditating that consistently and that strong. So I had to deal with that. But the silencing of my mind and just being with the process, that wasn't so difficult. I didn't feel demons coming up and like trying to like there wasn't these internal like just massive struggle that I dealt with. I'd say I'd done so much personal development work and some meditation and things like that before that. But I really found a whole new level of presence when I did that and being at peace with myself.
Yeah. So the true self is revealed. The true self is revealed in the stopping of the mind. You know, so often we're so busy. You know, I'm so busy complaining about how busy I am.
Yup.
And we stop to reevaluate. And when we stop and slow down, that's when the true self is revealed. And if you want to grow this year, you need to connect to your true self. You got to quit being so busy that you're disconnected from your true self of what really makes you happy.
I've basically made busy a swear word. It does not come out of my mouth. I don't despise the word, but I just like, I never use it because it's such a filler. It's such an excuse. It's such a
a lame ass excuse.
It is. It's lame, and I find it is very weak, disempowering language. So to find, I'm being laser focused. I'm being productive. I'm prioritizing. You know, if someone asks me to go do something, I say, I'd love to. Here's my priority, or just simple no, flat no, period. That's a full sentence, right? Not having to explain myself. It's been huge breakthroughs, man. What's up, Channel Lee Moore out in the audience? What's up, Superwoman?
Okay, so the gift of silence reveals who you are and also reveals who you are not. Silence reveals the veiling of pure consciousness through the actions of ego identification. Let me read that again. Silence reveals the veiling, the cover up of pure consciousness through the actions of ego identification. When you that was a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot for a short sentence. So we have pure consciousness capability, but our ego is a veil. Our ego stops us from seeing that bigger picture.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sayings these days: your ego is not your amigo.
Well, hey, I like it, and I also think ego. If we attack or villainize our ego, then it will not be able to serve us. It will become compartmentalized, which I think a lot of our problems and wounds come from compartmentalizing our being and ourself and repressing certain parts, like repressing the little 6-year-old boy or girl inside of all of us. That compartmentalization creates unhealthiness, versus if we can just be all aspects of ourselves, the darkness, the light, the ego, the higher self, I think that is the healthiest place. So I think there's some truth in that, and in my opinion, don't go too far with that energy of screw you, ego.
Well, one of my favorite quotes I picked up this year is that humility is not thinking less of yourself. but thinking more of others.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
Yeah. So the ego is this part where we think just a little bit too much of me and we're disconnected from others.
Mm.
And so what does this mean? It means seeing the magic in everyone else. Like like everyone has magic,
Yeah.
and if my ego is there, it really prevents me seeing the magic of others.
Yeah.
I can still have a high self-assessment without um punishing, like the moment that my ego thinks that I've got it and they don't, that is a damaging place from the ego.
Yeah.
But if you have like, okay, I have respect for myself, I am amazing, and when I recognize that, in no way am I diminishing myself, but when I can turn away from myself and see the magic of others, this opens up all kinds of magic.
Mm. I love it. Yeah, I think that's when we're able to spot it within, and not just within, but I think that's where it has to start, is to say, hey, I got to like myself first before I'm going to be able to start liking other people. But to start there and say, okay, good job, Chris, to start that journey. And then with the other aspect of liking others and celebrating others and their greatest gifts, I think that is super, super important.
Okay, number 14 here. Self-realization requires mastering the observer state of consciousness.
Mm. Wow.
If you want to grow this year, if you want to become aware of yourself, then you need to be outward and be present with others.
Mm.
Being an observer, taking in the world. My goodness, this one has been in my life in the past, especially, it's been a demon for me, where you live so much in your head that you're not really connected with others. And it's when we become that observer, when we observe others, when we observe the world, when we get out of our head and we become present to the magic and the splendor around us, um, the more we understand the world, the more we can understand ourselves.
Yeah. It's cool.
Okay. Now this next one's kind of long.
Okay.
I'll just read it. This is a focused state where one identifies with the silent inner true self, the divine, rather than the stories of the ego and the rational mind. From this silent state, there is no rational action required. You are the observer, what is observed, and the process of observation. The silent observer simply views inner and outer sensations, judgments, thoughts, breath, and behavior without ascribing meaning to what is seen.
Mm.
So we can observe without attaching meaning. We just observe. It is what it is.
Yeah.
We don't need to attach meaning. The silent self-observer is like the film in a camera. It objectively records what it is seen without comment. It becomes apparent that no matter what is seen in the world, it is first projected onto the outer landscape from within. You have a thought. Your mind projects the thought onto the outer world. You then experience a quote unquote perception of this thought projection. This is how thoughts create reality and becomes self-fulfilling prophecies. Self-observation allows you to face what is seen and penetrates the projection. As if by magic, the act of observation results in dissolution of the projection.
Mm.
One's true nature is seen to be independent from one's own thoughts. Our true nature, source, and power is in the silence.
Wow. Wow. And I want to speak to my firsthand experience of this with the silent meditation retreat. When I was doing the meditation, they teach you how to scan your body, and you don't look for anything. You don't try to do anything. You just become aware. And it's like a sweeping radar, like what's happening now? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it tight? Is it loose? Is it whatever? And simply the act of observing and scanning back and forth, not trying to change it, not trying to love it, not trying to do anything, but just observing it, causes it to dissolve, causes it to like be witnessed, be recognized, and say, hey, I was seen. I can go now.
Boom.
It's powerful.
Okay, I got one more bullet point here on my notes.
Let's do it, man.
Process of personal growth requires the participation and support of others of like mind, the cultivation of honest and sincere relationships and community. You want to grow this year?
Yeah.
You're not going to do it in isolation as well.
No way.
As bringing that support community, whether it's a community, whether it's a mentor, whether it's, but just being around. And all people are not equal. There are people that can really support you and people that can't. One of the things that's more powerful than mindset is environment.
Yeah.
You can have the best mindset in the world, but if you're around a toxic environment, you may be able to keep your mindset today. You might be able to keep it for a week. You might be able to keep it for a month. But if you're in a toxic environment long enough, it will impact you and it will shift you. And that's not good. And so if you want to grow this year, you need to make sure that you got some allies in your corner that, I break environment into 3 parts. Number 1 is your physical environment. Mm-hmm. If you got a toxic physical, or if you have a physical environment that doesn't support you in doing what you're trying to achieve, it's not going to be easy.
Nope.
So the first thing you want to look at, how can I upgrade my physical environment to support me in my goals through 2020? The second part of environment is the people in your environment. You want to surround yourself by people who love you and care about you, to help you nurture that growth. Okay. Now here's number 2 and 3 are, number 3 is you need to have an environment with ideas that support you.
Yep.
Now, you say, well, my family loves me and supports you. Yes. But do they have the ideas? Do they have the expertise? One of the questions I asked this last year of other people was, how much of your money-making knowledge came from people who had jacked up money beliefs? How many of us are running our prosperity program based on stuff we learned from people that have crappy money programs?
Yep. Especially as a 6-year-old, as a teenager, like 20s, like what did we learn? Who were we around the most, and what do we pick up?
Yeah, if you want to learn how to be a millionaire, you're not going to learn it from people that are like in the welfare line.
No.
Or even people that have a job and they're struggling. Like, my dad and my mom were very hardworking people.
Yeah.
But they weren't millionaires. And they gave me a lot of good things. But when one of my sayings, this is a Joe Nicassio original quotation that downloaded to me from the universe one day, and that is, we are tattooed in our cradles with the beliefs of our tribe. And so there are things that we can learn within our tribe, but there are also things that we cannot learn within our tribe.
Yeah.
And if there are things that we cannot learn within our tribe, and we want to learn those things, then we need to go outside of our tribe and find a leader or a shaman or a teacher, or a wizard or somebody that can mentor us on those things that we don't have.
Yeah.
And I think it's a perfect transition into my coaching.
Boom shakalaka. Joe, this has been a powerful, powerful interview, man. And I love the silence. I love the aspects of moving towards growth rather than fear. And I know our audience wants to know how they can get more, how they can get a guide like yourself to help them become their greatest possible self and find the business that suits them and helps them grow into their best year ever, man. How do they do that?
Yeah, let's have a conversation. You know, it doesn't cost anything to have a conversation. EmployeeEscapePlan.com, very top of the page. There's a button that says connection call. Well, the new one. I haven't uploaded the new website yet, but schedule an appointment or connection call. Let's have that conversation. There's a couple things that I'm doing. The second week in January, third week in January, I'm doing a 1 week, 1 hour a day for 5 days. It's going to be a Zoom call, but it's about how do you choose your business wisely. And I normally charge $5,000 for coaching, but you know, there's like the first thing is if you want to create a great business, you need to choose what's the right business for me. In my coaching program, I sell this complete solution. And the biggest place where people need time the most is choosing that business. Once you've made the decision of what business you want to go in, then it becomes pretty easy. Now we can build the business because we know what direction. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is January 13th through 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm doing it's a training, it's worksheets, it's exercises, and it's $100. So that's something people are interested in. Like, what business should I go into? Just reach out to me, send me a private message, or my email, rapidresults@gmail.com. And let's get you into that if that's where you're at. If you don't know what direction is, you already know what direction. If you already have a business and you want to just grow it, take it to the next level, go to EmployeeEscapePlan.com. Let's have a call. Let's see if I can help you. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I like taking that stance. The truth is I haven't found anybody that I couldn't help if they sincerely wanted the help. But I like to come from this place of zero pressure. Let me ask questions, find out where you're at. And based on what you tell me, that will tell me if I'm equipped to help you or not. Some people, for example, they want to start a business. Let me tell you who's not a good customer for me. Some people say they want to start a business and they want to put a business plan together and for the purpose of finding an investor. In other words, let's put together a business plan, and then I'm going to go seek money. And if and when that money ever comes, I'll start my business. If that's you, you're not my customer. I don't want you to be a victim of an investor. If the money comes, I can start my business. If the money doesn't come, I'm screwed. No, I don't buy into that crap at all. It doesn't take money to make money. It takes customers to make money. And you can go get that today. You know what? Let me give everybody a way for them to make money today.
Very quickly, Joe.
It's New Year's Day. A lot of people party. There are messes in people's homes and living rooms and locations everywhere. Yep. That's a problem. Okay? I want to challenge anybody that's watching this right now. Say, hey, you know what? I know your house is a mess. If you pay me $50 or $100, I'll help you clean your house. Boom. There is not a person that cannot make money today, because here's the very simple magic formula for making money. I will fix your problems and you will pay me money.
That's right. It's easy as that. Joe, you're a freaking powerhouse, man. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone, message Joe when you're ready to grow your business, aka now, aka 2020, the best year ever. Shoot him over a message. Go to EmployeeEscapePlan.com. Check him out. Follow him. He's always putting out gold, great content, great videos, and good stuff. And Joe, thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate you.
And hiring a coach, whether it's me or Chris or someone else, it is the growth choice. Yep. It takes courage to get help. Yeah. The fear choice is, it's a new year. I got to protect my money. I'm not going to hire a coach. It's my, So this is the entire topic of what we've been talking about the last hours. If you want to grow this year, have the courage to get the help you need. All right.
Take action. Joe, I appreciate you, man. Have an amazing day. Love you, bro.
All right. God bless.